You ever watch a movie that just sticks with you? Like really gets in your head for days?
Oh, absolutely. The kind that challenges you but also hits you emotionally.
Exactly. And Christopher Nolan's 2014 film, Interstellar, is definitely one of those for me.
For a lot of people, I think. It's a big one.
So today, in this deep dive, we're going to try and unpack Interstellar. Our mission, really, is to pull out the core ideas, the most important bits from the sources we've looked at.
Yeah, dig into that mix of, hard science, the really deep human stuff, and those big philosophical questions it throws out.
It was co-written by Christopher and his brother Jonathan Nolan, right? And it just blew up when it came out. So much discussion, so much debate.
Definitely sparked a lot of conversation. People either loved its ambition or, well, had issues with it.
Okay, so let's set the scene. Earth, near future, and things are not good. It's pretty grim.
Understatement, yeah. You've got ecological collapse, dust storms constantly, major food shortages. It's painted as humanity really being on the brink.
Right. Facing extinction, basically. And that's where Cooper comes in. Joseph Cooper, Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah, he's this former NASA pilot, kind of grounded literally by the planet's situation. And he gets pulled into this, well, this incredibly secret last-ditch mission.
The mission being
Right.
travel through a wormhole that suddenly appeared near Saturn.
Exactly, to find a new home, a new habitable planet for humankind. It's presented as the only hope left. Humanity's, like, ultimate Hail Mary.
And what I think is so clever structurally is how Nolan weaves those two main stories together.
You mean the space journey and what's happening back on Earth?
Yeah, you've got this epic trip across the stars, super high-stakes science stuff, but then you're always cutting back to Cooper's daughter, Murph Jessica Chastain, plays who as an adult.
And your struggles and just humanity waiting back on this dying planet.
It creates this incredible tension, doesn't it, between the science, the vastness of space, and these really raw, relatable human emotions. Love, loss, time.
Absolutely. It grounds the whole cosmic scale. No matter how big the concepts get, it always comes back to those human connections, those feelings, which I think brings us nicely to the performances. They're crucial.
Oh, totally essential. McConaughey is Cooper. Wow, he brings such an emotional weight to it. You feel his scientific mind, sure, but also that overwhelming love for his kids. It's palpable.
It really is. And Jessica Chastain as the older Murph, she's just fantastic. That mix of hurt, that feeling of abandonment, but also this fierce determination.
Yeah, this drive to solve the puzzle, to save everyone, it's intense.
And Anne Hathaway as Dr. Brand, she really embodies that conflict we see throughout the film,
Yeah,
The head versus the heart, logic versus emotion or intuition.
that's a great point. And Michael Caine as Professor Brand, her father, he adds that sort of gravitas, that layer of, well, wisdom and maybe even deception.
Definitely complexity there. And all these performances really serve that core theme the film keeps coming back to, love. Not just as a feeling, but as maybe something more.
Like a force, almost. Something that operates beyond our normal understanding of physics or rationality.
Exactly. Potentially a guiding principle. Something that transcends space and time. It's a bold idea.
And speaking of transcending, visually, this film is just something else. A feast for the eyes, really.
Oh, absolutely. Hoyt van Hoytema's cinematography is stunning. And the way they depicted the wormhole, and especially the black hole, gargantua.
Yeah, people still talk about Gargantua. It looks so different from previous movie black holes.
Because it was based on real science, they had physicist Kip Thorne consult heavily. Our sources say the visuals were generated directly from his equations, which is pretty amazing for a blockbuster.
Nolan's commitment to practical effects, too, right? Less CGI, more real sets, models, using those huge IMAX cameras.
Yes, exactly. It gives it a weight, a tangible feel that you don't always get in space movies. It feels real somehow, even the fantastical elements.
And that visual contrast is so stark. The dusty, dying Earth versus the sheer majesty and terror of space.
It really emphasizes what they're fighting for and what they're facing. It's beautiful, but also incredibly daunting, hope and despair, visually represented.
Then there's the sound. We have to talk about Hans Zimmer's score.
Oh, definitely. That organ-heavy soundtrack, it's become iconic.
So powerful, ethereal, haunting sometimes, incredibly emotional. It just elevates everything, the scale, the intimacy.
It really does, though it wasn't universally loved in terms of the mix, was it?
Ah, right. The criticism that it sometimes drowned out the dialogue.
Yeah, some people found that frustrating, but apparently that was a deliberate choice by Nolan and Zimmer.
Right.
They wanted the audience to feel it, to be overwhelmed by the sound, the music as part of the experience.
Like the sheer power of space or gravity itself. maybe, an immersive approach.
Something like that. Less about catching every word, more about feeling the moment's intensity, which kind of leads us into the science itself.
Yes, the really mind-bending stuff at the core of Interstellar. Time relativity is huge in this film.
It's central. That whole concept, an hour on this planet is 7 years back home. It's not just a plot device. It creates enormous emotional stakes.
Because the crew knows that every minute they spend near Gargantua, everyone they love is aging, potentially dying, decades passing.
Exactly. And it's based on Einstein's general relativity.
Yeah.
Extreme gravity, like near a black hole, literally warps space-time, slowing time down for observers close to it compared to those far away.
So it's grounded in actual physics, even if it's taken to an extreme for the story.
Right. And the film doesn't stop there. It dives into some really speculative ideas, too, like fifth-dimensional beings.
Yeah, the they who created the wormhole, who operate outside our understanding of time and space.
Entities that could, theoretically, perceive time differently, maybe see past, present, future all at once, and interact with our dimension in ways we can't grasp.
Which connects to the Tesseract scene later on.
Precisely. And also the idea of using gravity for communication.
How does that work, theoretically?
Well, the film suggests that gravity, unlike other forces, might be able to cross dimensions. So these advanced beings, or maybe future humans, could manipulate gravity to send signals back through time.
Like Cooper does in the Tesseract, using gravity to move the watch hands.
Exactly. Using it like a cosmic Morse code across dimensions. It's fascinating speculation built on some real physics concepts.
It's impressive how it balances that known science. Kip Thorne even won a Nobel later for work related to gravitational waves with these huge philosophical leaps.
Especially that idea we touched on. Love as something fundamental, maybe even physical, transcending space-time.
Which loops back to the big themes that make the film resonate so much beyond the sci-fi spectacle.
Definitely. That theme of love versus logic, or maybe love is a different kind of logic, keeps coming up. Dr. Brand's speech about it is a key moment.
Yeah, suggesting it's not just an emotion, but maybe some kind of artifact, some evidence of a higher dimension. It's provocative.
Very. And then there's the theme of sacrifice. Huge sacrifices.
Oh yeah. The choices these characters face are brutal. Personal connections versus the survival of the species. Plan A versus Plan B.
It really digs into what you'd be willing to give up for the greater good. Or for the ones you love. Heavy stuff.
In the theme of time and legacy, we mentioned the time dilation, but just the emotional impact of seeing your children age decades while you're gone for hours, it's heartbreaking.
It really explores the pain of that separation, the weight of legacy, what you leave behind across generations when time itself is so warped.
But amidst all that darkness and difficulty, there's also this theme of hope, right?
Yeah.
And exploration.
Absolutely. That core human drive to push boundaries, to reach for the stars, even when things seem impossible. It's about resilience, about not giving up.
Okay, but we should be fair. Interstellar wasn't universally praised. It definitely divided people, and there were some common criticisms.
True. It wasn't without its detractors. For some, the science, especially the later stuff like the Tesseract and the fifth dimension, felt confusing or maybe underdeveloped.
Like it asked the audience to just accept these massive concepts without maybe enough groundwork.
Potentially, yeah. And the runtime, nearly 3 hours, felt too long, maybe a bit slow in places for some viewers.
Pacing issues, depending on what you were looking for.
Right, and some critics felt certain emotional beats were maybe a bit forced, or perhaps overly sentimental for a Nolan film.
Interesting. And we already mentioned the sound mix issue, the dialogue versus score debate. That was a big one for audiences.
Definitely a divisive point. So yeah, valid criticisms were raised, but overall.
Overall, I think the consensus leans towards it being this really rare beast. A blockbuster with huge scale and serious intellectual ambition.
Agreed. It challenges you, makes you think, but it anchors all that big science and really powerful, relatable human emotion.
So for many, it's a masterpiece, maybe Nolan's most ambitious film. For others, maybe ambitious to a fault, a bit messy.
That sums it up pretty well. It depends on what you value in a sci-fi film, I suppose.
So who is it for, ultimately? If you like your sci-fi, thoughtful, philosophical, emotional, visually spectacular.
Then Interstellar is probably going to blow you away. It'll stick with you.
But if you're after something more straightforward, maybe more action-focused sci-fi,
You might feel a bit heavy, maybe a bit slow, yeah.
still, our sources gave it a strong 9 out of 10. Visually stunning, emotionally powerful, intellectually stimulating.
Hard to argue it's not a modern classic in the genre.
Agreed. It achieved something pretty unique.
So, wrapping up our deep dive here, Interstellar really stands as this powerful example of what cinema can do, right? Blending complex science with deep human feeling.
Yeah, it's both this incredible spectacle and this quiet meditation on, our place in the universe, what drives us.
And its legacy is undeniable. People are still talking about it, debating it, being inspired by it years later.
It definitely keeps sparking conversations about space, time, love, survival, all the big questions. Which leaves us with a final thought maybe for you to ponder. What is Interstellar really saying about what drives humanity when faced with the impossible? Is it our cleverness, our science?
Or is it our emotional bonds, our love for each other? Or maybe something else, something unseen connecting it all.
A lot to think about there. We definitely encourage you, if you haven't seen it in a while, maybe revisit Interstellar with some of these ideas in mind.
Or just take a moment to think about the sheer scale of the cosmos and the power of human connection within it, which the film portrays so, so powerfully.